reviewer of mine, Euphoria Blue, suggested that he wanted me to do more movie reviews. So I thought, okay, good, I'll do more movie reviews. But I'm putting them under the playlist, Sports is Art for Stupid People, so that people can, be aware of, if they don't want to hear me rant about politics or whatnot, they can just go to these ones. Now, the reason for the title, Sports is Art for Stupid People, is because I think that there's higher levels of art and lower levels of art. The highest level of art is like classical music, literature, painting. And film is somewhere beneath those. I don't think of movies as art, really, because it's just too many cooks in the kitchen. Or as I once said, if you film a painting by Picasso with Mozart playing in the background, does that make it better art than Mozart and Picasso because they're both together? Well, no. That's not how art works. In fact, music is especially high on the level of art because it doesn't have anything visual and it leaves that to the realm of imagination. Music is time, involves time and sound. Painting involves space and sight, right? So that leaves something open to imagination, interpretation. Film really doesn't leave anything. Now, everything is art. So if you blow your nose in a napkin, I guess that's art, right? But it would be on the lower level. And that's why I say sports is art. The reason I say for stupid people is because it's low level. And I think it's their way of expressing themselves. And, I really don't have anything against sports or people or stupid people. But I have no problem with pissing off people who take themselves too seriously. So if you take yourself so serious that if I say baseball is stupid, then good. I'm glad you're pissed off. Okay, so I'm gonna do synopses of movies that I think are really good, because if you don't want to bother watching the movie, I'll just tell you the story, and then you'll be like, okay, that's awesome. I often do that, where I'll just read the plot of a story on Wikipedia rather than watch the movie, because I just want to find out how it ends. That would be like a M. Night Shyamalan movie. I just want to find out what the twist is, and I don't really want to bother with the movie. I'll give a spoiler alert before I reveal the ending, just in case the movie just stop if it interests you. Stop watching this and watch the movie, and then I guess check the rest of this video out afterwards. Now, I watched this movie DECAY on Tubi TV, which is free and legal. And so it was done by a first-time director who also wrote it. The main actor was in a movie called I Am a Ghost. I don't think he's a very big actor, but he's really good at this anyways. Well, the movie is a horror drama, but you know what? I hesitate to call it horror. It's very uncomfortable to watch at times because of the morbid stuff going on. But then again, that movie Monster with Charlize Theron was thoroughly unenjoyable or precious. I mean, I would call those movies horrors. They just sucked. But I mean, they're terrible and upsetting to watch. Okay, so here's the story. This guy's like a introvert, lives alone, doesn't talk to anybody, and these two like 20-something girls break into his house because I forget why. They think that he's got weed there, so they break in to steal weed, and he catches them, right? And he's not angry. He's just like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And one of them flees, and the other one trips and falls and dies in his house. The one who flees then gets hit by a car and killed. So we got a setup where he's got a dead body in his house and nobody knows about it. The only witness is dead, right? Now that's already a pretty cool setup, because he's already given this interesting problem where if he calls it in, it's going to look like he killed her. So what do you do in this situation? You do what he does. You take care of the dead body and pretend that it's, a person still, and you have dinner with it. It's like Weekend at Bernie's meets it's not really like Weekend at Bernie's. It's more like Lars and the Real Girl, where he's such an introvert that he's got this blow up like stuffed play doll that he thinks is his girlfriend, right? Because he's so detached and cut off from the world. But this is even better because it's a dead body. So that's the entire movie basically, is him taking care of this corpse while it rots, and he's like, got an affection towards it, and it's very upsetting and gross to watching it decompose while he like bathes it and has a connection with it, and it's a very slow burn, so it's not exciting or anything. It's not a fun movie. That's basically all that happens for the majority of the movie. There's many times where the viewer, I'm assuming, if they're anything like me, would be like, "What the hell is this? This is This is just gross. Why am I watching this nut job?" And that's kind of the beauty of the movie. The brilliance of it is that you're supposed to be thinking, look at this freak. What the hell's he doing? My God. Who would make a movie like this? Who would do something like this? And for you to think, make all these judgments, right? And you start thinking of like that guy that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on. I forget what his name was. Ed Kemp? No, not. But he he's the guy that like dug up all these bodies and made lampshades out of them and like was eating out of their skulls, using them as bowls. But he actually never killed anybody. He just did this. Right? So he wasn't even, like, he never committed a crime other than digging up dead bodies and doing messed up things with them. Oh, and also as the movie develops, you see flashbacks to when he was a kid and how his mother was OCD and she was completely nuts and she made him wash his hands a million times. And she's, like, always talking about Jesus all the time and how everybody's a sinner, everybody's evil. So that he basically was conditioned to never connect with anybody, right? He's completely messed up. So I'm just going to reveal the ending now. The thing is, it's not really a twist or anything. It's just kind of the inevitable outcome. I mean, the twist is really just what the meaning of the movie really is. Like, the movie just going to decay in terms of story? So he basically realizes that the body has rotted past all reason. There's maggots crawling out of it. A cockroach comes out of the mouth. So he has to bury it, dispose of the body, and he feels so bad about it. He's crying and he keeps saying, "I'm sorry." And then they're like really, really beautiful, touching music plays while he's giving the dead body a bath. And you see from his eyes, like he sees the beauty, like he sees it as like a beautiful girl, like you see her as a beautiful girl, and that's interspersed with cuts of how morbid she really looks. Now, for me, that's the climax of the movie because it's so touching and potent. So you got him bathing this beautiful woman. She's caressing her legs and all this, and she's looking at him and smiling, and it's beautiful music. And but like then there's this like cut and it's really scary music, like just flashed for like 1 second of this like dead, rotted corpse in his bathtub. So it evokes from the viewer like a sense of like love and like empathy, but then also horror and like, oh my God, like, so you're getting all these different feelings, and at the end he's just crying a lot, and I think he sort of gets over it, and it's kind of got a happy ending in a sense that he just moves on with his life. There isn't anything about him getting caught or like getting in trouble, and that's just it. It's just that he had this like that, like, it's just so sad. It's the picture of loneliness. This was the closest he ever got to another human being, right? And I suppose the dead body and rotting is like an analogy for how he's decayed and decaying as a person, as a human being. I guess like he's not becoming evil, but he's decaying in a sense of like he's just been ruined. Like his whole identity and existence is decaying, is just dying, and he's just so sad and lonely. And I think the director and writer, he worked on a few movies as a cinematographer, so he's really, really good at that, and it's very incredibly well done in terms of that, and I think it's about as close to a masterpiece as a movie can get. And I really like how the viewer goes from thinking, oh my God, what a loser, this is such a stupid movie, this is ridiculous, he should be like locked up, to thinking, what a poor guy, and he's actually such a nice guy, he's a good person and all that. And it's just sad. I feel for him. In fact, I think this is the second best story about loneliness I've ever seen or read, after Perfume, the Story of a Murderer. And they actually have a lot in common. That's one of my favorite movies. Kurt Cobain was reading the book when he killed himself, and Stanley Kubrick called the book unfilmable. But it was done, and it was done well. It was done by the same guy that did that movie with the Wachowski sisters. What's it called? Cloud Atlas. And he started off with Run Lola Run. Anyways, that's it. I'll do more reviews soon. Oh, and I'd like to amend my use of the word loneliness. The word alienation is also very important. These movies are about alienation as well as loneliness, and I guess loneliness is part of being alienated, so maybe alienation is the better, more encompassing term. If you support gays, click like. If you respect blacks, comment. If you think women are people too, click the notification bell. And if you care about sick children, subscribe.